Hello and welcome to Tea with Tolkien, an online community for the Hobbit at heart. This video is a part of our Silmarillion guide series, which offers a quick and easy-to-understand introduction to the events, characters, and world of the Silmarillion. This guide is also available as a free ebook, which can be downloaded at teawithtolkien.com/shop. The Ainulindalë and the Valaquenta. Ainulindalë, the music of the Ainur. It is in this chapter that we see the creation of the world through the music of Eru Ilúvatar and the Ainur, the beginning of the unrest of Melkor, the descent of the Valar into the world, and the first battle of the Valar against Melkor. Ainulindalë, while only a few pages long, is one of the richest chapters in the Silmarillion. It's the kind of chapter people write entire books about, and I'm so excited to be able to dive a little bit deeper into it with you today. There was Eru, the One, also called Ilúvatar, the creator god of Tolkien's myth. He made first the Ainur, the Holy Ones, which are angelic beings and have been called gods. Ilúvatar spoke to the Ainur, teaching them song, and they sang before him. First they sang alone, and then they sang together. Ilúvatar introduced to them the first theme, and there was harmony for a time. However, Melkor, greatest of the Ainur, altered his part in the music in an attempt to increase his own power and glory. This caused discord to arise among the Ainur. Ilúvatar began a new theme, the second theme, but Melkor contended with it, then a third. Finally, Ilúvatar arose and ended the music entirely. Ilúvatar showed the Ainur a vision, the world and its history unfolding. "Behold your music," he said, "for through it the world was made." In the vision, the Ainur saw the children of Ilúvatar, and they loved them. Many desired to go down into the world and to prepare for the children. Melkor desired to rule over them and be called Lord. The vision ended, but Ilúvatar then spoke the world into being, and some of the Ainur chose to go into the world, and they are called the Valar. The Valar then began the long work of preparing the world for the children, all the while Melkor meddled in their plans. I think it's beautiful that Tolkien chose to create his world through music, especially considering the way that musical themes carry on throughout his other works. I wanted to mention here my favorite part of the Ainulindalë, which comes as the Ainur are given this vision of the world unfolding. Ilúvatar speaks to Ulmo, pointing out the way that Melkor seemed to disrupt the original plan for the world by creating bitter colds and heats without restraint. And yet, instead of ruining the waters of Ulmo or destroying them, the world is enriched by the existence of frost and snow and mists and rain. Ulmo answers Ilúvatar saying, "Truly, water has become now fairer than my heart imagined. Neither had my secret thought conceived the snowflake, nor in all my music was contained the falling of rain." And I find this incredibly beautiful. It's a reminder that Melkor's attempt to cause ruin are continually being used to create something good instead, something better than anyone could have imagined. This calls right back to just a few pages earlier, when Ilúvatar says, "And thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth this shall prove but my instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself hath not imagined." The idea that despite Melkor's pursuit of evil and manipulation, Ilúvatar remains in control, even if it doesn't appear that way at first glance, is very comforting, and it's something that carries through even The Lord of the Rings when Gandalf speaks to Frodo of something else being at work against Sauron. The Valaquenta. Valaquenta begins with a short summary of Ainulindalë. It then goes on to introduce the lords and the queens of the Valar, giving a bit of background information on each of them and explaining how they all relate to each other. I know these can be difficult to remember or differentiate, so I've included a printable chart in the back of my Silmarillion Reader's Guide if you are interested in downloading it at teawithtolkien.com. Next, we are introduced to the Maiar, spirits like the Valar but of a lesser degree. The last section of this chapter is titled Of the Enemies and explains a bit more about the cruelty of Melkor as well as introducing his servant Sauron. Let's meet the Valar. Manwë, king of the Ainur, who delights in air, wind, sky, and height. Ulmo, lord of waters, seas, rivers, fountains, and lakes. Aule, lord of substances, craftsman of the Valar. Orome, also called Alderaan, hunter of monsters and fell beasts. Mondos, also called Namo, keeper of the houses of the dead. Lorien, also called Irmo, master of visions and dreams. Tulkas, also called Astaldo, delights in strength and contests. Varda, also called Elbereth, lady of the stars. Yavanna, also called Kementari, giver of fruits, delights in growing things. Nienna, lady of sorrows and lamenter of griefs. Este, healer of hurts and sorrows. Vaire, weaver of time. Vana, who delights in birds and flowers. Nessa, who delights in dance and song. The relationships of the Valar. Manwe dwells with Varda. Aule dwells with Yavanna. Mondos dwells with Vaire. Lorien dwells with Este. Tulkas dwells with Nessa. Orome dwells with Vana. Olmo dwells alone. Nienna dwells alone. Melkor, now named Morgoth, is no longer counted among the Valar. The Maiar. The Maiar are spirits of the same kind as the Valar, but of a lesser degree. They are often servants or helpers of the Valar. Tolkien writes in the Valaquenta that the chief of these are Ilmare, handmaid of Varda. Eonwe, standard-bearer and herald of Manwe. Ase, vassal of Ulmo and master of seas. Uinen, lady of seas, protector of Númenóreans. Melian, spouse of Thingol, mother of Luthien, servant to Vana and Este. Olorin, also called Mithrandir, and Gandalf, wisest of the Maiar, defender of the free peoples, and Sauron, also called Gorthaur the Cruel, servant of Morgoth. In our next video, we will begin Quenta Silmarillion with Chapter 1 of the Beginning of Days.